Oh, what should I draw today?
Something PC.
A man with a gun. A big gun. That sounds good. Okay, let's start with, if we're going to do a gun, we got to start with the part that's closest to us. So if we're going to be pointing at us, let's start with the part that shoots. And come on, give me a solid line here, marker. Don't give me a hard time. Solid lines now. Come on. Okay. There we go. That's better. Dry erase marker, not the ideal medium necessarily. And we're not going to try and make this too perfect. We're going to show how we can make some structure, some perspective, some reflectivity, some various fun things. So that's and then we have to have a groove in it here because I started a groove on the front. So when you got to bridge a gap between two things, draw the two sides first, then bridge it. And we got an angle part here. That part seems to have decided that it's going to be black, so let's make it black. And we got another angle part up here. A screw right in there. And let's see, what side is this? This is not the side with the right-handed person, so I won't put any sort of safety on there. I've got to put some sort of detail on it, so let's put some hash marks on it. And that's see, now if the gun is short like this, then the trigger guard probably starts pretty forward. And once we get this much, we should put some sort of a sight on it. And maybe a back sight on it. Maybe there'll be a hammer down there somewhere in the back side. Now, we need a finger, so let's start with the knuckle. We know the finger goes through there, so we're seeing this side of it, so we're going to turn the knuckle that way, put it back, put the knuckle in the hand back here. Everything has to go that direction. Trigger guard goes underneath, another fingers go down here. And up, got that knuckle too close, I can see that now. So it comes back, let's see the fingers underneath. They go the opposite direction, they're going this way. So we're seeing this side of the knuckle on the bottom, we're seeing the opposite side on the top. You maybe put both sides in here, a little bit of tendon, whatever. A hand holding a gun. The gun is obviously not big enough, so let's change it. Let's take out this and this. That's what when you do facile drawing all on the surface like this, you gotta be ready to change things. So let's bring this all the way back to here. That line back. Continue with this slanty part. And then this needs to go all the way back. This part. This. That's not big enough. It's in the wrong place. Now let's put the hammer right there. And we had some hash marks on there. And we're going to put the gun has to look like it's in the hand. So we're going to try to make it look like that, show the bottom of this. And let's put some reflection on there. You know, before I do the reflection, let's do a little more person. We don't want him to be wearing a shirt like that. Let's make that cuff looser. We'll put a shirt cuff in here. Nobody really wears shirt cuffs anymore, do they? But shirt cuffs are easy to draw. So, make the cuff. Put a little wrinkle in it. Look the other side where the seam is. Come back like that. There we go. Now we got a dark part underneath. It's a button cuff. It's not buttoned. Let's see where the arm is going to come back. I think the arm is going to come back somewhere in here. Okay. So let's see where the cloth might go. Let's make some folds in it. Remember, folds come from someplace and go to someplace. So your fabric just doesn't fold on its own. It folds because something's happening to it. Come back. We have the, this is the seam. That's the seam line. That's not the shoulder necessarily. At the bottom. We just make the shadow on the bottom. Is good. Alright, we've got the bottom of the arm here. Yeah. Let's see. If we put a collar there, seeing his torso coming underneath. Again, fabric pulls in the direction that your movement is going. So let's pull, pull. Let's emphasize the direction here. This collar is not big enough, it should continue going. Okay, now I'm kind of not really having room for his head, so he must be leaning his head forward so we can see it. So let's see if the head is, I'm going to put a squinty eye there. Another squinty eye. Let me show the top. Put a little for the eyelid. So yeah, we can build it up with a simple line here. Once we know where the nostril is, we can put that there. Let's give him some dramatic eyebrows here. This line is now in the way. The features will decide where the head is. Okay, so we got a brow ridge. Just remember there's a brow ridge, forehead. Let's see, cheekbone. He's angry. Trying not to mess this up with my hand. So let's give him a nice cartoony, angry mouth. You can put some teeth in there. Lower lip. With a man, you don't necessarily want to draw the upper lip. You guys come around here, find the other cheekbone. You can even do a little to show. He's really angry, so we have to put some stuff up here. Cheekbone is not even right. There we go. The head too big? I don't know. I do know that I'm getting very close to the edge here, so I burn it out. Don't really have room for hair. I guess this guy is kind of losing his hair. Okay. Anyways, you get the idea on that. So let's put some reflectability in here. Where's our light coming from? Let's just say sort of out here somewhere. You're going to come into these spots and just create both sides of it. I feel like I'm a little incoherent trying to explain what I'm doing here with the stuff. So just watch a little bit, and maybe you can catch on a little. It's overworked, but you can get the idea. The reflectability, you create it with pieces of black. I don't like that. Pieces of black. The basic reflectability is, if this is reflecting, I can show that with a couple of lines going this way and then finish it that way. I can fill it in a little more, all the way, and show like the shape of it. See here we're starting to, you see how this is starting to look? There's a reflection on there. There's a really hot reflection. You might want to bubble it. Like here's something. The light is coming from right here. And so the dark spots will all be down there. And sort of a bubble of reflection here. Doesn't go all the way to the edge. This is where the dark stuff is. It's away from the light. All right. So we would black up a lot of this stuff. This is all black under here. Get the idea on that. See how the black makes it pop out more. And I think this arm needs to be a little bigger. So black, 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 black. Now on these folds, it's like, look at how I've got the black going into where the other folds are. See, so this is like actually a piece of fabric here. And we can feather this out. Feathering is very popular in comics. But see, this is a fold coming down around there, not fold in here. Every one of these folds that comes from somewhere has to go somewhere. So now if we really want to make this pop, what we're going to do is we're going to take the part that's closest to the viewer. Right, make those lines the heaviest, because now we're going into 3D here. 3D gun. Let's darken up these lines and see what happens. With a finger there. When we make the closer thing closer, it's an illusion of reality. Now if I make these lines steadily smaller as I go back, it's going to create a 3D effect. And the solid black here is going to help that effect. It's going to make it pop out of you. Solid blacks are dramatic, they're just time consuming to fill in. Alright. So this, actually his head is too outlined. Ream that back. See how we're creating the illusion, the gun popping out at you. Boom. Now, obviously it doesn't happen in a vacuum. So let's say he's on a street. Okay? There's a street light back here. Back down here somewhere. There's a sidewalk. It's coming towards you. Now, excuse me, what do we have on this street? Door over here. Brickwork around it. This some sort of thing over here. But the door is not right there. The door is set inside. So there's a shadow there. That has to come back. This line goes the same way as these lines. The door is actually back here. Now, how do we know it's a door? I don't know. We put panels on it. A lot of doors have panels. So that's a door back here. It's a brick building. There's some more brickwork there. So the brick building ends here. We don't want to draw all that bricks in. So what we're going to do, instead of drawing them in, is fill this in with other things, like windows. It may seem like, that would be a shadow. It may seem like it would be harder, glass is 3 lines, to do, to put a lot of windows and stuff on something. It's actually easier than making the brickwork come out right. So the more stuff you can junk it up with, the less you have to be accurate. Yeah, probably not what they teach you in art school. But, and then we have the 3 lines for the glass. And we can put in. When you're only doing small spots, just fake it in. You do not have to do bricks all the way. And you don't have to draw every one. But this is far enough for the close stuff. And then in the background we could have some other buildings. They're far background buildings. Real life buildings are always stranger than the ones you think of. So don't be afraid to make them strange. We should start with a bit more of a outline. Put some antennas up there. Let's see. Oh, there's too much antenna up there by far. Sun's going down. I put a couple of different antenna type things up here. Ooh, sort of a Mount Calvary antenna. Okay, maybe we have let's see, sun's going down, so I'll put the sun right up here. Put some light in there. If you take two lines and overlap like hexagons or random hexagonal, octagonal type shapes, it starts to look like a sunbeam after a while. Put a couple more. And actually the light beams usually go in two directions, but let's have it breaking through the clouds, say. Clouds are always, those are horrible. Clouds are always big, little, medium. Now when you're drawing clouds, when you get to the bottom, flatten out. The bottom of clouds is always much flatter than the top. Here's a cloud in the distance. It's way out there. Draw two sides of some of this. Make it more complicated. So I'm breaking through the cloud. Now, head's too big. What's wrong with it besides the head being too big is well, we need some more. If we're going to put shading in the face, we need to do more than that. We don't need it. Let's say we were. Put some on there. And nose is too small. Wrong side of the eraser. I did not like that cartoony mouth now. Definitely a black eyebrow person. Okay, now the points I want to make with this is that when you're drawing a picture, start with your focus. Right here, the most powerful impact is the gun. We outline that heavily to make it look like it's coming at you. Now the other thing we're going to do to make it really pop is after we've done the picture, we're going to come in here with an eraser if it's pencil, or whiteout ink if it's ink. We're going to use white paint. When I say whiteout ink, I mean Pro White paint. We're going to outline it like this. We're going to take away everything that touches the foreground. So let's outline, take away everything that touches the foreground. Lost the hammer. It's alright. Whatever. Now, is there anything touching? Okay. By taking away the parts that touch the foreground, you're going to really make this pop out at you in 3 dimensions. See how that pops out at you even more than it did. And the heavy black line around the foreground is helping. But when you're doing a drawing like this, start with the part that's forward, work your way back. Now if you have sketch lines, that's fine. You want to sketch out the thing first. I did in a facile, superficial way with nothing, just to illustrate some points, but start forward when you're inking, work your way to the back, and make that the emphasis. Start if the gun is the emphasis, make the gun the thing you start with. Okay, the gun was the important thing in this picture. Background, the worst thing you can do is try and work out a correct perspective and draw all sorts of correct, lines in here for stuff that's going to be covered up anyways that you're never going to see. A background like this, we only need little bits of it, you know, so we don't need all of it. If you only need a piece of a building, then only draw a piece of a building. There's no reason to work out a perspective for a whole building. You see what I'm saying? But that turned out pretty horrible. But I think you learned a few things. I want to point out on the eyes that when you're angry, you can squint the eyes up from the bottom. Don't show very much the pupil. Now that's an angry eye there. An angry eye squints down from the top and up from the bottom. There should probably be 3 lines on both sides of your eye. I'm mad. Okay, so that's one thing. Angry mouth here. Angry mouths pull. They pull. They're angry. And then you gotta pull that line down from the nose. Oop, gotta give him a pencil mustache here. Now, you don't have to do a cartoon tooth, but it doesn't hurt. What else can I do with this? Nothing much. So let's just stop this video right here and save this board for the next video. Okay, as I do more of these, I'm going to learn how to talk better while I'm doing them. That I was kind of not really knowing what to say as I do it, but give me a chance. As I do some more, I'm going to learn how to talk better as I do them. I'm going to say cut and walk down and turn off this camera myself. And I hope you watch my next video too.